Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Elizabeth Elenor with Pause. And today we're going to be talking about what it is that you're telling your body, right? What is it that you are wanting to experience, but you're having troubles actually getting there, getting to that point of recognizing that you feel like things aren't going right in your life, right? Things aren't not being supportive, like things aren't going right. But Elizabeth, it's not going right. I'm not being able to do whatever I need to do, right? And so when you're in that space, what you're telling your body is that you're not safe. And what happens is the body has its own agenda. So the body has all of these. Good morning, Tam. Good morning, Carol. I would love for everyone. I'm doing this new thing. I'm like, what can I do to support people to be interactive with this so that they're engaging with their whole system, right? So I would love for you to put into the comments here, #reflect. Because Pause is all about reflecting on what's going on for you in your own system, reflecting on how this is, how your body, how your mind is interpreting this, right? So what are you telling yourself? Because the body has its own agenda, right? The body actually wants to be right. And the body has already made its mind up. It's got all of these layers of old information from our childhood, right? 99% mentality is what the body has already locked into its neural pathways. And so the body has its own system, its own agenda, its own way of being. And so here we are, we're wanting to experience something new. We want to grow, we want to expand, we want to be a new person. And what's happening is we've got all of these ambitions and visions that we want to create, and we're going and doing the actions. And while we're doing the actions, our body is saying, but this is not right, this is not working. We look at the cup half empty instead. And so in that process, our body's going, yes, that's right. We're actually not in this space of feeling comfortable or feeling safe, right? And I've got a bit of an example of this. So I've been doing Pilates for, oh my gosh, I don't know how long I've been doing it. And I personally, really good in spiritual matters, really good with mindset stuff, really good with personal growth. Fitness is not one of my fortes, right? And so this is something that I'm having to shift in my body, because my body remembers things like my mum saying to me, you can't swim like your brothers. When I was like 5 years old, I really wanted to swim. My brothers were, used to wake up early in the morning and do training. They were competitive swimmers, right? And I really wanted to do it, but mum wouldn't let me because it would broaden my shoulders, right? I wasn't allowed to do a whole heap of stuff, and I was allowed to do physical culture, which was hardly any exercise whatsoever. So my body remembers that somehow my body sees it as unsafe to actually exercise, that it's not comfortable for me. And so I'm shifting that energy. And then on top of that, you have that 2 years ago I had, a brain tumor removed. And so since then, my balance has just been a little bit out, right? And so, the body, it's more so that the body goes into, I'm not feeling safe. So here I am, I go and do Pilates, and in the last, however, 6 months, 8 months maybe of doing Pilates, some of the moves, because we're on a reformer, some of the moves mean you've got to have really strong core, you've got to have a lot of balance. You've got, we might be standing with 1 foot on the wood platform and 1 foot on the reformer, and we're, moving the reformer backwards and forwards, or we're balancing on a freaking foam box. All of these things, right? And just recently, so I actually fell me and another woman fell at, like this was maybe it would have been about 6 months ago, right? We both fell off our reformer. I didn't fall as badly as she did, but I still fell. So my body now has a memory of falling off the reformer, right? And has a memory of having my head cut open. And so I watched my body go into this space of not feeling safe. And just recently, I've got onto these amazing curcumin drops, right? And so my body is shifting and changing, and I'm feeling a lot stronger. I'm feeling a lot more flexible. The inflammation's going out of my body. I'm able to move better. And I'm finding myself on the reformer being able to do a lot more than I used to. But this morning we were on that reformer again with one foot on one side and one on the other. And we had to put our arms out in front of us or something to create more challenge for our balance. And I watched as my mind and my body went to go, I'm not safe. It went to go into, oh, this is not comfortable for me. And so I then shifted that. And as I was doing it, I said to my body, I am safe. And I watched my body strengthen up just from that moment of telling my body, I am safe. I am safe in this movement, right? Because we had to put pressure on one leg more, and then we had to put pressure on the other leg that was the one that was moving backwards and forwards, right? And so I had to tell my body I am safe. So now I'm going to ask you, what is your body telling you? What is it that you are in the process of looking at, experiencing, wanting to grow and expand, and your body is telling you, or your unconscious is telling you that you're not safe, right? That you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you're not well prepared, or you don't have the right A, B, and C like other people, right? It's all just systems that your body mechanisms that your body has created so that you are more you're surviving, right? So that the body doesn't feel uncomfortable, because the body wants to say, right, I want to be right. And so here you are in this movement of, I want to create a new business. I want to expand in my personal growth. I want to meet the right, beautiful partner, whatever it might be. And here you are, your relationship with your body and the relationship with that new project or that new vision is out of alignment. And so, I've been able to look at my shadows and my, past lives and my shadow personalities. I've actually been able to look at my triggers. I've been doing this work for a long time. And so I've been able to neutralize a lot of this stuff. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means that it's sort of, as I was explaining to someone once, instead of it being like this massive wave that takes over my body and I go into fight or flight, it's now just this swell, and I can look at it from the side and go, there it is again, right? And I can shift it really easily because I know how to do the work. I've got that skill set. I've got the recoding. I've got the mindset stuff that I teach and I coach other women how to do, right? So I'm asking you, are you in the 99% mentality where you're still in the I'm not good enough, I'm not working, it's not working for me? Or are you shifting in to that beautiful wild woman? And I want to just give a definition to why I chose to call this group Awakening Wild Women, because wild for me is not the banshee that's screaming and yelling and out there with no clothes on, howling at the moon. That's not my version of wild, right? However, like if you're into that things, and I've been there, if you want to be there, that's fine, because that's that wild energy coming out, right? However, to me, wild means natural. Wild means innate. Wild means in our essence. Wild means the creator, right? Wild means that internal intuitive knowing, that part of you that is in your wisdom, your divine wisdom, in your divine feminine, in, you know, holding that the strength of the divine masculine and being able to take the action, being able to soften that with the intuitive knowing of the divine feminine. That is wild to me. So what's wild to you? I would love for you to put, I haven't been able to see the comments. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So a couple of things I'd love for you to put in here, hashtag reflect, so that you're engaging on what this conversation is, because this is a conversation with only me and you, right? I'm sharing this conversation with you. So what is it that you're reflecting on, and what does wild mean to you? So I'd love for you to share in the comments what wild means to you. And do you feel that you're being able to language to your body what it is that you really want to allow it to experience? And what we're ultimately wanting is we ultimately want to feel safe, right? Because the body is a whole different experience than our intuitive knowing. You know, our intuitive knowing came from that beautiful place of the divine, where, you know, the all-knowing, the oneness, the singularity that was created, and then chose to create the multitude of different reflections so that it could experience itself. And that is who we are. We've got this individual singularity that is just a reflection of that bigger process. And, you know, that is just a premise, but I'm telling you that premise, for me, I have been looking at that premise all my life. Well, definitely the last 25 years of working as a healer, and constantly over and over and over again, I'm getting the results. I'm getting the validation of that belief. And so when you recognize that you are just an individual, that individual is having these old memories from its childhood that aren't valid anymore, right? We just need to update those to remind ourselves of our creativeness, our wisdom, our expansiveness, right? Our wildness. When we can recognize our wildness and really take ownership of that, that's when the juices start really, coming to the forefront. That's when we become the creative genius of our life. That's when we're constantly seeing the flow with ourselves and with our environment around us. That's the, 111, 22, like we see the triple numbers, we see the, the synchronicities, right? So I want to share with you, actually, I'm going to share this in another post, but I just recently went to the Gold Coast for a training. You know, sometimes when you do something and you're so good at it that you don't realize how good you are at it, and we don't recognize it. I also have that, right? And so on the weekend, it was it was not last weekend, the weekend before. And so it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this training. It was a 4-day VIP thing. And on the Thursday, it was my birthday, right? It was about 20 of us, and we were in this room in a big office. Had the whole space. And so we're all in the training on the Thursday. And I have this moment where I want to change the clothes that I'm wearing because it was getting hot or cold. I can't remember now. And I had this moment where I was thinking, okay, where will I go? Will I go to the toilets out the back? Will I go to the toilets out the front? Or, I just was like, where am I going to go, as the guy was talking to us? And I had this inspiration, I'll just go into the boardroom out the front, and I'll be able to do that. Everyone's in here, blah, blah, blah. So I got up off my chair and I walked down out of the room and down the hall, just as this lady was coming in from the front, and she had a bouquet of flowers, a big box of flowers. And my first thought was, oh, she's going to think I work here. I need to get the lady that works here. But before I could say anything to her, she said, I'm looking for Elizabeth. And then I clicked, it's my birthday, they're flowers, blah, 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 and I said, oh, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I go back into the room. Everyone sings me happy birthday. They were flowers from my beautiful partner, Tim. And he's like, that was such a classic, right? That I got up at the same time. Well, on the Sunday, the same thing happened. There was another woman and it was her birthday on the Sunday, and we just happened to be opposite each other in the room. And on the Sunday, we were being, we were in the training, and I decided I wanted to go to the loo before it was morning tea, it was a little while before morning tea. I think it was about 10, 15 minutes or something. And so I decided to get up and go. And as I got up, I noticed in the corner of my eye that she got up as well. And so we both get up and we go to the loo at the front, and I finish and I go to come down the hall, and the lady that works there has stopped me and says like this, and, shakes her head, and I'm like, oh, okay, she wants me to stop. So, I'm waiting in the hall and I'm looking at her like, what's going on, and she stops me again. Anyway, she shakes her head. Finally, and she's looking into the room where the trainer is. She finally comes down the hall and she looks at me and smiles and she says, you're the most amazing creator I've ever experienced, right? Now, this is coming from someone that her husband was training us in creation. So I was a bit surprised, right, when she said that. Anyway, when the other woman comes out of the loo, she says, come in, and we both come in, and they've put a little muffin on each of our tables, and they've got a candle in it, and they sing us, happy birthday and blah, blah, blah. And she tells me later that they were going to do it at morning tea, but just before I got up to go to the loo, she'd had this thought, I might bring them into the side office just in case there's an opportunity before morning tea. And after she'd had that thought, I stood up and I went out, and so did Janine, right? And so we both left. Now, both of those moments, and everyone's going, what were the odds, right, of that happening? And I sort of thought about it. I'm like, that sort of stuff happens to me all the time. I just take it in my stride. I don't even think about it because I'm so connected to my higher self, my superconscious. I've pulled out all of those triggers, most of those triggers. We are human. I'm in a human body. I'm imperfect, right? Most of those triggers I have neutralized because I've done so much work on my past lives. I've done so much shadow work. All of these things that hold us in resistance, right? That are locked into our DNA, that are actually like garbage information that don't serve us anymore. All of those things, most of those things I have been able to clear through the process of the different types of modalities that I do. And I've been doing 25 years of it, right? So I'm saying to you that when this sort of thing happens, this is the wildness that we all are. This is where we're heading, ladies. This is the awakening. This is the recognition of us being totally in flow with creation and making our choice to, this is what I'm creating, and it just happening. Because it happens because you're in this beautiful flow, right? So I'm asking you, where are you at with that? Are you listening to your body and going into, I'm not safe, I'm damaged somehow, I'm not capable, right? How are you really listening to that because the body wants to be right? Or are you stepping out of that and recognizing that you can shift that energy? You can clear it, you can neutralize it. If you need help, come and get in contact with me. in the chat, put yes please, and we'll send you a link so that you can come and do some work around this, right? Because it's not you, it's the human side of you that feels separate, that feels dysfunctional, and could be from past lives, could most probably is generational. It's in your DNA, and we are here to shift that out of our frequency so that we can shine bright and we can shift and change the world. We're being asked to do it, have a mission, right? What side of the coin are you on? Are you a half full, like half empty, half full type of person? Who are you? Because whoever you are, if you're going into the negative, if you're feeling like you're broken, then I'm telling you that you're listening to your body and that is erroneous. That is not right. It's actually not right. It's old information, old data. It's old programming, and it's time for us to update it and to start really shifting who we are, what we want in our communities as wild women, and conscious relationships, right? What we want in our communities, what we want in our environment, what we want in our world, on our planet, right? We are the ones. It starts here. So throw a yes, please into the comments if this is something that you want to talk about, if you want to really start clearing some of this stuff and finding out who you are underneath it, because all that other stuff is not you. It's actually your grandparents, and part personalities and a whole heap of stuff from past lives and all that stuff and programming from your childhood. It's not you. So that's me. Love for you to put hashtag reflect in here. Really reflect. Take that moment. Really tune in. Think about what it is to be wild, what it means to you. Put it in the comments for others to share. Let's build this community into women that are wild women, shining their light, bringing this world into, heaven on earth, like there's so many prophecies about it, right? What side are you going to be on, ladies? Take care.